There's a specific kind of freedom that comes with console gaming. It's the freedom from the desk chair, the freedom to recline, to pick up a controller, and just game on the biggest screen in the house. For years, the dedicated desktop PC has been the undisputed king of performance, still is. But it's been chained to the office or chained to a desk or a secluded spot in the house, right? A powerful machine that just demands commitment and, like I said, just space and sometimes for some people a dedicated gaming room. But what if we didn't have to choose? For years, the concept of a couch PC existed in the form of HTPCs and Intel NUCs, but a machine capable of delivering a solid modern gaming experience that could seamlessly integrate into the living room, replace a console, and slip into a backpack for travel often felt like a dream reserved for the dedicated DIY enthusiasts wrestling with complex small form factor builds or those settling for weak integrated graphics. A true entry point for console users wanting to explore the PC universe without the commitment, complexity, and sheer cost of a full desktop rig simply didn't exist in this convincing plug-and-play form factor until now. This isn't just a powerful mini PC, it's about a complete workflow setup built to expand into kind of like a micro gaming PC system or ecosystem. It's for the traveler tired of a weak laptop integrated graphics and the living room gamer craving the full Steam library and most importantly the console player ready to take that non-committal step into PC gaming. I've been running the numbers and logging the hours, and I have to tell you that Redragon MPC745 Celestium isn't just good, it redefines a value proposition for the entire mini PC category. It's the perfect blend of local capability and network efficiency, serving as the ultimate remote extension of my main desktop rig. Which brings me to this deep dive. I want to extend my sincere appreciation to Redragon for sending out the new MPC745 Celestium for me to put it through its paces. As the two-crack ethos goes, this isn't just a simple unboxing and setup and all the more authentic stuff you're seeing in the background right now. This is where we combine the hard data with the real player experience to see if the hype holds up. Obviously, you probably would never see actual content from this mini PC because it's not dedicated as a content creation rig. It's literally a couch PC for me, a travel PC. So you probably won't actually ever see me stream or play games from this PC, but I will talk about it because I do that. You get what I'm saying? So this script kind of breaks down why the MPC 745 Celestium might just be the most important small form factor machine to drop this year. Now let's go ahead and crack into the specs. When assembling a system designed for maximum portability and minimal footprint, we must look at the synergy between its components. In a mini PC, every choice is a compromise. Like literally, it's a compromise. These things are tiny. Like they're tiny. They're smaller than a PlayStation 5. They're tiny. Like when I say they're tiny, I mean like they're extremely tiny, but they have a lot of power behind them. You know what I'm saying? But the Celestium seems to have found the perfect balance point between ultra small form factor, and that's especially thanks to AMD's latest APU technology. So let's talk about the brain behind the system. The engine driving the Celestium is the AMD Ryzen 7 8845HS. And this is where Redragon, in my personal opinion, made an excellent strategic choice. This is not some weak, low-power chip designed only for web browsing. The HS designation tells us this is a high-performance chip designed for slim laptops. But here, it's been given the room and thermal headroom of a mini desktop chassis. Bro, I don't know how to say it, but if you're watching the background footage, it's mini. When I say mini PCs, these are mini PCs. Like, they're tiny, you know what I'm saying? They're so tiny, you can literally just, like, put it in a backpack and, like, with a portable monitor or whatever, or just connect it to your laptop for that extra power. They're mini, you know what I'm saying, right? So, and this allows it to stretch its legs within its 35 to 54 watt configurable TDP envelope. Now, we're looking at a formidable 8 cores and 16 threads capable of boosting up to a significant 5.1 gigahertz. This architecture, built on AMD's Zen 4 foundation, gives the MPC745 workstation level capability that kind of bellies its size. This is a CPU designed to chew through complex calculations, heavy multitasking, and most importantly for us, feed the integrated graphics card with lightning fast data. When you look at the raw compute power, the 8845SH clocks in with a pass mark CPU mark score that averages around 28,437. Okay, to put that into perspective, that level of multi-threaded performance is more than capable of handling modern AAA title physics, AI, and complex background tasks, often performing right alongside dedicated desktop CPUs from a few generations ago. For a mini PC, a couch PC, remember, this means zero bottlenecks when switching between streaming Netflix, running Discord, and launching a demanding title. The CPU ensures the system is not only a gaming machine, but also a full-fledged productivity tool. Crucially, the 8000 series also introduces the dedicated Ryzen AI MPU, which is a neural processing unit. While that might sound like marketing jargon now, it literally future-proofs the Celestium, enabling rapid acceleration for AI-driven features like noise suppression, video upscaling, and other productivity tools that are rapidly becoming standard in Windows and third-party software. Now, before I move on, this does come with its own in-house integrated OS that you can just use that can mimic Windows, but if you want to reboot to Windows, you have to buy a whole new Windows key for this particular build. So keep that in mind. Now, you can't use a free version of Windows if you don't plan on customizing too much or doing too much of anything with it. If you want to, especially if you feel like the $140 price tag at the moment of time recording this is too much for you for a new Windows key for a whole mini PC, you don't really have to do that. You can kind of use it as a cloud gaming theme for that if you want to do it that way, but you still have the power of Windows for you if you want to kind of, or remote play, I want to say, remote play, not remote/cloud play, but you still have the power of Windows to help you out. You just have to deal with the little Windows watermark if you want to do that. Or you could run it in the original OS and still have the full customizability and control with Firefox and all that, Chrome and everything, still download Steam and all the other things like that, and still access the Steam library, download games, and it will literally emulate Windows for you. But sometimes the OS that's integrating here won't actually be read as Windows all the time, and you will get error messages from certain games that says, hey, you must install Windows. But sometimes it can bypass that as well. It's just a weird OS system. I'm not even going to go into it right now because I immediately, like, after trying it for a few times, I immediately just rebooted it into Windows and called it a day. Now, let's look at the heart of the gaming here, right? We already looked at the brain, the AMD Ryzen 7. Then I talked about the OS system. It's Windows capable, but it comes with its own, like, integrated OS. But you can reboot to Windows. But the heart of the actual system itself is going to be the AMD Radeon 780M integrated graphics. And that's the true magic trick that allows the MPC745 to kind of challenge the console space. And that's the AMD Radeon 780M. It's an integrated GPU, aka an iGPU. This is the integrated graphics solution that effectively changed the game for the entire industry. It's built on RDNA 3 architecture. The 780M is equipped with 12 powerful compute units and operates at peak efficiency within its 45-watt APU package. Forget everything you know about old integrated graphics, the kind that struggle to run Minecraft. The 780M is genuinely capable. Its raw performance often positions itself right in the neighborhood of respectable last generation dedicated laptop GPUs, often comparing favorably to like the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050 Ti or even the RTX 2050 Mobile. So yeah, you kind of got, like, if you want to put it that way for my NVIDIA fans, you kind of have like a 2050 Mobile inside of this small little compact design, or a 1050 Ti in this small little compact design. That's kind of what it feels like when you're running stuff, and especially if you're remote playing your like AAA games, you won't even know the difference between if you're playing on your main card or if you're playing on this integrated card. You know what I'm saying? Integrated card? We'll just call it integrated chip, but I just like to use the word. We'll just use what it is, integrated card. We'll just go with that. Remain authentic, right? Now, but let's manage expectations with that gamer first mentality. Can it run Cyberpunk 2077 at 4K Ultra? Absolutely not. But it can deliver a smooth, high fidelity experience in the living room at 1080p. Yes, it can. Thanks to AMD's software ecosystem, the 780M excels when paired with its secret weapon, that is FSR, that is Fidelity FX Super Resolution. For those that don't know, this optimization strategy is essential for resource-intensive AAA games. I found that demanding titles, you know, like some of the good first-person shooters out there, like older Call of Duty titles like Modern Warfare 19, etc., and even like Battlefield 2042 and all that kind of good stuff, you know what I mean, become entirely playable, usually hovering in the 30 to 45 FPS range with optimized medium settings. A truly console-like experience without when running locally. Now, if you want to run it remote, you're going to actually get more performance out of it when you do remote play with AAA titles. We'll talk about that in a second, right? But the 780M coupled with the efficiency of the 8845HS delivers a second vital capability that redefines the couch PC concept. It's ultimately it's the ultimate remote play client. Think about my main rig, you know, that's like literally in the same room but elsewhere. The one with the RTX 3070 and the 1440p monitor. When I want that pure high fidelity experience without the latency jitters that plague aggressive 1440p 165 Hz targets on my CPU, I let the main rig handle the raw rendering, and I use the Celestium to flawlessly decode the stream elsewhere on the 1080p Fire TV. This uses the Celestium not for its local rendering power, but for its incredibly efficient hardware decoder, turning it into a dedicated low latency mini console. We'll talk about why it's low latency in a minute. That projects the power of my desktop across the entire home network. It delivers the stability of a console experience by offloading the render work, proving that sometimes the best feature of a component isn't what it generates, but what it perceives. So in short, what I'm trying to say is that if you have a main rig set up, you can literally download Steam on this, and you can stream or remote play your Steam games on this and get solid fidelity and solid performance through remote play because it has a really awesome low latency Wi-Fi system. I don't want to say about now, but you get what I'm saying. Keep waiting for the video, you'll understand what I mean, what makes this so powerful, where it has very low latency. So just wait. Now, essentially, you might be saying, but what if I don't have a main rig? Can this still run some decent games? Yeah, it could run decent AA, like older AAA titles, some modern AA titles, some modern indie titles. But don't try to force demanding hardcore AAA titles into it. However the case, especially if you want like the best resolution and the best fidelity and the highest frames possible, because technically you're going to be limited to 1080p gaming with this thing, right? You know what I mean? So therefore, in that sense, the console still trumps unless you're connecting it to the as a remote play client and is connected to your main desktop rig. So as you're building out your main rig, you know what I mean, you have this like in your living room somewhere, right? You have your main rig in your gaming room. You may have this in your living room, or you may have it in your bedroom, or whatever it may be, and you're using it as something like that, like a remote play client, so that you can still do productivity, because you could do its own in-house productivity and all that other work and workflow stuff all in and of itself. That's how I use it. And then when you want to play those demanding titles, you just literally remote play them from Steam. And then when you're playing the less demanding titles, you can just literally direct play it from the MPC745 itself. That's where I'm getting at with that whole concept there. Now let's move on to the rest of these specs, because I think the rest of these specs are going to matter as well. We're talking about one of the crucial enabler. It comes with, now if the Radeon 780M is the engine, the RAM is kind of like the fuel line. And in the world of iGPUs, bandwidth is going to be king. This is perhaps the most critical section for understanding the Celestium's gaming performance. The 780M, being an integrated solution, does not have its own dedicated video memory, right, VRAM. Instead, it shares the system's main RAM. This means the speed of that RAM is a determining factor in how quickly the GPU can process textures and graphics data. This is why the inclusion of 16 gigabytes of DDR5 5600 megahertz memory in a dual channel configuration is absolutely non-negotiable for a gaming-oriented mini PC. The 5600 megahertz speed is a massive leap over previous generations of laptop and mini PC RAM, especially in DDR5. Faster RAM directly translates to higher frame rates and fewer stutters, especially in GPU intensive scenarios. When you look at benchmarks comparing the 780M running on slower 4800 megahertz memory versus 5600 megahertz, the faster speed provides tangible performance gains, often in the 5 to 15% range, depending on the title. With this dual channel configuration, this is going to be the most crucial detail. Running two sticks dual channel effectively doubles the data pathway between CPU, GPU, and the memory modules. For a GPU starved for bandwidth, this dual channel setup provides a theoretical peak memory bandwidth of approximately 102.4 gigabytes a second, which is essential for the 780M to operate efficiently and unlock its full potential. So starting with 16 gigabytes ensures there is enough memory reserved as quote-unquote VRAM, typically 4 to 8 gigabytes dynamically allocated, while leaving a healthy 8 to 12 gigabytes remaining for the operating system and background applications. Now, Redragon has wisely provided the option to expand this up to 96 gigabytes, which I would strongly recommend for power users who plan on heavy multitasking or deep diving into modding and other things, as 16 gigabytes allows for, as 96 gigabytes allows for even more dedicated VRAM allocation and assures no OS restraints. And when I say dedicated, I mean like a lot of dedicated. You can even go up to 32. Now, you can go to 32, you can go 64 if you want to. Honestly, if you want the GPU to simulate, or the iGPU to simulate more dedicated VRAM, just swap out the DDR5 to just go a little higher. That's it. Go from 16 to 32, or 32 to 64, or hell, just go all the way up to 96 if you want to. You know what I'm saying? And that will give you a much more higher simulated VRAM experience, so that you can have much more computing power for the things that you need to do or want to do on this particular mini PC. Now, there is now, the modern gaming experience, whether you're on console or PC, is defined by load times. Games are now colossal, like often demanding hundreds of gigabytes, and we know this, I know this firsthand, and waiting for a spinning hard drive is simply unacceptable in 2025. I know this firsthand too. It sucks having a hard drive. Internal SSD is so much faster and better than just relying on this little spinning hard drive all the time, right? You know what I'm saying? Now, the Celestium comes standard with the 1 terabyte PCIe 4.0 M2 SSD. Why 1 terabyte? Why is the 1 terabyte the minimum that matters? Well, simply put, AAA titles often hover around the 100 gigabyte mark. A 512 gigabyte drive is immediately full, forcing constant game deletion and re-downloading. The 1 terabyte capacity gives the user enough breathing room to install several large titles and a wealth of smaller indie games or work applications right out the box, if you want to use it from in that perspective, right? The PCIe 4.0 interface is the key to maintaining that fast console-like feeling, while specific subsequential read-write speeds vary by drive band. A PCIe 4.0 drive typically delivers speeds in the range of 5,000 to 7,000 megabytes per second for reads. This means near instantaneous boot ups and game loading times that compete directly with internal SSDs found in modern consoles, maintaining the immersion for the couch gamer, right? Or bed gamer, whatever one you are, you know. Furthermore, the expansion here is substantial. Up to 4 different drives, right? So you can actually utilize, because it comes with 4 slots, so you can kind of expand it kind of infinitely, you know what I mean? So if you want to add 8 terabytes, you can do that. If you want to add another 4 terabytes, you could do that. If you want to mix and match different size SSDs, you know what I mean, according to the space that you kind of need, you can essentially do that. You see what I'm getting here? Now, for a machine designed to be a micro gaming PC, knowing you can easily open it up and boost that storage, you know, to higher numbers is in the future is a phenomenal value add, in my personal opinion, and a huge vote of confidence in the longevity of the platform. Now, let's talk about the connectivity, because the power of any PC, especially one aiming to integrate into a living room or to be a travel workstation, lies in its connectivity. The MPC745's port selection elevates it from a simple mini PC to kind of a true little hub, a micro hub, I will call it. The I/O on this diminutive chassis is remarkably robust and future-proof. You have one USB-C 4.0, which is about 40 gigabytes per second. This is the MVP port. The 40 gigabyte bandwidth means you can theoretically connect to an external GPU or eGPU enclosure, though I caution against making that your primary plan. More practically, it supports power delivery and display port 1.4, meaning you can run a high resolution external display and power the unit if the display supports the power out, all through a single cable. Perfect for minimal desktop setups or just simply for travel. You get 2 times USB-A 3.2 Gen 2s and 2 times USB-A 2.0s. A generous selection that covers everything from controllers and external hard drives to a keyboard and mouse combo like I got, ensuring no dongle fury when connecting your peripherals. You also get 1 times HDMI 2.1 and 1 times DisplayPort 1.4. This combination ensures compatibility with virtually any monitor, or in my case, television on the market. HDMI 2.1 is crucial for maximizing performance on modern 4K TVs or 8K TVs or whatever you got, capable of pushing 8K at 60 Hz or high refresh rates at lower resolutions. While DisplayPort 1.4 supports 4K resolution up to 240 Hz, allowing the MPC745 to serve double duty as a competitive esports machine when docked into a proper monitor. Yeah. Especially if you're like, you know, remote playing that game, yeah, you can do a lot with it. It can literally emulate and mimic your main gaming rig if you remote play. It's cool. It's pretty cool to see. That's why you guys heard me saying some of my videos like, oh yeah, on my MPC45 I can get this and this and that. Yeah, you're still limited by with internal setup, especially if you want to hard install it to that. But your main rig, especially if you're streaming it or remote playing it, is going to be kind of doing most of the work. If it makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but it kind of makes sense. But that's a whole subject for another day that you can go on a whole nother channel to figure out how remote play and streaming services actually work, especially if you're doing that from different setups, etc., etc. But like I said, not only does it double duty as a kind of a competitive esports machine when docked to the proper monitor, but it also double duties as a competitive alternative to something like a Fire Stick or even hell, a console that you're just not using the game with, but you're just using to browse the internet and watch YouTube and watch movies every so once and often and stream your favorite streaming services, right? You can do all of that on this beautiful little engine here, okay? Also, you get 1 times 2.5 gigabyte Ethernet. This is a fantastic inclusion. A 2.5 gigabyte connection future-proofs your home network for faster downloads and low latency multiplayer gaming. A necessity for any serious gamer, especially when streaming games over the local network. Now, you also get 1 times 3.5mm audio jack if you want to go the traditional jack plug route that way, which is going to be simple, essential, and often missing on ultra compact devices, ensuring easy connection to legacy audio systems or your favorite wired headphones. Now, wireless connectivity, like I was saying for the latency part, is handled by the modern Wi-Fi 6 for fast, reliable internet access away from the Ethernet cable, and Bluetooth 5.1 for seamless pairing with the latest controllers and headsets, further solidifying its role as a flexible couch or bedroom PC. So what does all of this add up to? The Redragon MPC745 Celestium has its approximate current price point of roughly $500 USD for the 16 gigabyte, 1 terabyte configuration, and scalable by the end user, presents a value proposition that is exceedingly difficult to kind of beat. Comparing it to modern consoles is complicated but telling. It doesn't have the brute force of a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X, which rely on heavily optimized custom hardware. However, it handily beats the overall flexibility and entry-level price of any gaming laptop that features comparable performance. A machine with the i7 Ryzen 7 16 gig DDR5 and a 1 terabyte SSD laptop and a laptop chassis will easily cost hundreds of dollars more, and you lose the benefit of the compact desktop class cooling the Celestium kind of employs. The true comparison is not against the performance peak, but against the utility. For the cost of an entry-level console, the MPC745 delivers an incredible amount of computational freedom. 1, full PC gaming library. You have access to Steam, Epic, GOG, and all the other PC stores, along with crucial PC benefits like modding and customization for standalone gaming. 2, you get extended desktop performance via a remote client, like I was saying. The Celestium's hardware decoding prowess turns it into a dedicated low latency streaming client, allowing users to experience those more demanding AAA games rendered at the highest settings by the main PC, like my 3070 rig or your 4090, whatever you might have, or your 6900 or 7800, right? But enjoyed in a stable 60 FPS console-like environment on the biggest screen in the house. Yeah, cool, right? You know what I mean? Also, number 3, productivity and work. It's a full Windows PC. Well, after you reboot it into Windows, that is. Capable of handling demanding work, streaming, and content creation tasks. You know, something no dedicated console can really offer at the moment. Now, also 4, it's future-proofing. The Ryzen AI NPU, the 2.5 gigabyte Ethernet, and the USB-C 4.0 ports mean this machine is ready for the next 5 years of tech evolution before Redragon has to kind of release an updated model to keep up with the latest, specs and hardware. But over than that, the Redragon MPC745 Celestium isn't a replacement for a high-end desktop, but it's a successful realization of the couch PC dream for the budget-conscious, portability-focused gamer, or, just everyday individual like yourself, right? Because you're probably watching this, you're probably not really much of a gamer, but you're still watching, like, I want a mini PC, you know what I'm saying? I want to slap it to my TV or whatever and have it just so I can have it in my living room or whatever. Just give you more options, Yeah, it works, right? But it also offers a transparent, honest, and high-value pathway for the console gamer to finally explore the massive universe of PC gaming without breaking the bank or sacrificing their living room comfort. Like, you can literally connect it side by side to your main console and play it that way. Just know that you're going to be limited by its internal processing chipset and iGPU. For more higher end demanding AAA titles, but for a little less demanding ones and the AA titles and the small indie games, you'll be kind of fine with that. You know what I'm saying? But keep that in mind, right? And this is beautiful, especially for that console gamer that wants to just finally explore the massive universe of PC gaming without breaking the bank or sacrificing their living room comfort. And then when you feel comfortable saying, all right, well, the mini PC shows me what PC gaming can be about, I want to actually know what it truly is about. That's when you just kind of decide to dedicate yourself to building a tower or your own actual main desktop rig, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's cool, right? You know what I mean? Now, it is truly a powerhouse in your palm and the ultimate remote play gateway. So individuals with powerful or mid to high tier desktop setups or main rig setups can easily use this as, we'll say, a second PC, like I want to call it a console, like a mini console, you know what I'm saying? To where you can have this connected in your bedroom, your living room, somewhere else in the house, and you can still have access to all the things that you need, right? From that beauty, especially if you just want to use it to kind of stream play or remote play your Steam games and on the big screen or somewhere else, or you want to watch YouTube or stream live services with better quality, whatever the case may be, you can do that with this particular powerhouse of a little box of a system. Yeah, little box of a system. So if you're looking for your next main system, a powerful travel buddy, or that perfect bridge into the PC ecosystem, the Celestium, in my personal opinion, deserves a serious look. So if this deep dive helped you understand the power of the mini PC form factor, please remember to like, comment, share, and sub, all that YouTuber nonsense. I'll catch you in the next one. And if you want to purchase one for yourself, I can easily get you 10 to 15% off. Use the link in the description below. 10 to 15% off goes a very long way, especially at $500. So use that link below. But I feel like this is a great gateway drug into PC gaming. And if you already own a PC, this is a great side dish to kind of complement your household setup, as well as a great complement to something like a great complement or a great replacement to something like a dedicated laptop. But if you have a very powerful laptop, you know what I mean, like a 50 series type laptop or something like that, then I would just kind of stick with something like that. But if you're looking at those and like, man, these laptops are expensive, I'm not paying $2,000 for a laptop to have this and that. This is a beautiful way to get you something that can stably run most games, not all of them, but stably run most games and allow you to still have productivity and workflow at the same time. And you can still you can then buy your own controller for it. You could buy your own keyboard and mouse. You could buy your own portable monitor, the whole nine, especially if you're trying to turn it into like a portable system to kind of replace or be your main kind of laptop or portable PC per se. You know what I'm saying? So this has a lot of lifestyle opportunities for the individual that wants to use this as a lifestyle rig. And that's how I view the MPC745. Not as like a dedicated gaming system that you're just going to use the game all the time, but more like this is a lifestyle enhancement product. You get what I'm saying? So if that's what you're looking for, a lifestyle enhancement product that can, you know, be an extension to your main rig or be an addition to your console, or and allow you to still access those cool PC titles you see people playing, you see your favorite YouTubers playing. This is a solid option to get into the game. You get what I'm saying? Until you're ready to make that full dedication to go full PC and get a full rig setup. You know what I mean? But even if you have a full PC like I do, a full rig setup like I do, that you still plan on upgrading like I do, you can still utilize this as a, you know, like I said, like a little option to be like your couch PC, you know what I mean? Or your console without being a console that you can use on your TV in the living room or the bedroom or somewhere else. And that's the beauty of it. And that's why I kind of see this more as a lifestyle hack as opposed to a dedicated system. You know what I mean? So that's about it.